Here we come. Time to elevate. It's time to tune everything out. Let's focus on this. I gotta go. Come up with me. Come up here with me. Yeah, elevation. My apologies, I kept you waiting. When is he dropping? There is some speculation. The hourglass is almost out of sand, but no rush. I refuse to drop anything less than greatness. The letter I, the letter bar, exclamation. Times and a half, new seasons, the weather's changing. I read through these scripts in amazement. The simplicity of his power is too complex to begin to fathom. Elevation sometimes requires separation. Double agents, Judas stories, shapeshifters, forever changing. Say it's love, I can tell it's hatred. Secret competitions, hate to see your brethren make it. If it ain't no peace here, then I got to go. Since writing on the wall, I've been unlocking codes, all sevens. I won't stop until all the Akim knows. The feast in order, the jubilees are like pots of gold. 364 days, the heavenly tables have never changed. They playing their proper roles. This music touching a lot of souls. So the warfare on this side intensified. Aki the Father knows. If you listen, then most likely you didn't choose the common road. Narrow path vibes, repent and baptize.
Shalom to all the Jews and Gentiles alike, sending a strong shalom to the children of light. Namaste to all. You already know what the deal is. All praises to the Most High. All praises to 𝐭𝐡𝐢𝐬. All praises to 𝐻𝐬𝐬 𝐔𝐬𝐻𝐸. Through the Divine Mother, the Holy Shekinah. Acknowledgement to our big brother, Yahushua, HaMashiach, Yahushai, Matzah the Lamb, Isa, Emmanuel, the Lion from the tribe of Yehuda, the one they call Jesus Christ. So we're going to be talking about words, thoughts, sounds, vibrations in this video here. I got a whole bunch of books open right now. I got the Apocrypha open right now. I got a Book of Remembrance. Book of Remembrance right next to me. Been a while since I've whipped out that book. Of course, I got the Third Testament on me. And of course, you already know what the deal is. I got the keys of Enoch open right now. Alright, so let's hit the Book of 𝐯𝐢𝐝. Book of 𝐁𝐨𝐴. Chapter 23. Verse, where we going? Verse 11. Alright. A man that uses much swearing shall be filled with iniquity, and the plague shall never depart from his house. If he shall offend, his sin shall be upon him, and if he acknowledge not his sin, he makes a double offense. And if he swear in vain, he shall not be innocent, but his house shall be full of calamities. Hey, so we gotta be careful with what we saying. We can't be out here cussing people out here dropping a F-bomb, out here you finna, knock bro out his loafers, out his Timbs. Nah, that's Most High don't want you doing all that. Now let's go to the Bible, the book of Proverbs, chapter 13, verse 3, and it reads, He that keepeth his mouth keepeth his life, but he that open wide his lips shall have destruction. This is chapter 4, verse 24, and it reads, Put away from thee a froward mouth, and perverse lips put afar from thee. Let's go to 2nd Esdras, which is also known as 4th Ezra. Chapter 14, verse 14, and it reads, Let go from you mortal thoughts, cast away the burdens of man, put off now the weak nature, and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto you, and haste you to flee from these times. Let's go to the book of the Wisdom of Solomon, Chokmah Shalomah, from the top. Verse 4. For into a malicious soul wisdom shall not enter, nor dwell in the body that is subject unto sin. For the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit of discipline, will flee deceit and remove from thoughts that are without understanding, and will not abide when unrighteousness comes in. So if you out here cursing like a sailor, you going to the club, you getting drunk, right? And you got Shawty over here bumping and grinding on you, then you're not gonna have no understanding. The Shekinah gonna be like, nah, I'm out of here. She gonna flee. All right, so let's go to the Third Testament, Book of True Life, chapter 35. Where we going today? You know what? I don't even know where to go. There's just so much good stuff in the Third Testament. If you do not have that book, okay, definitely get you a Third Testament. All right. Let's go to verse 4 of chapter 35. Every incarnated and disincarnated spirit emanates vibrations when it thinks. So every time you thinking, it's a vibration is going on here. Every emotion exerts an influence. You can be sure that the world is filled with these vibrations. Now you can easily understand the healthy forces and influences must exist where people think and dwell in goodness, and that where they live outside of the laws and regulations which are determined by goodness, justice, and love, there must be evil forces. Both of them invade the spiritual space, struggle with each other, and influence the sensitivity of men. If men know how to distinguish between them, they take the good inspirations and reject those influences which are evil. But if men are weak and not prepared in the practice of righteousness, they are unable to confront these vibrations and are in danger of succumbing to their dominance and becoming slaves of evil. Let's go to verse 8. When from your mind emerges an idea or a thought of light, in that manner it reaches its objective to fulfill its beneficial mission. If instead of kind thoughts, impure emanations surge from your mind, they will only cause harm wherever you send them. I say to you that thoughts are deeds, and as such they attain written in the book which exists in your conscience. Let's jump to verse 12. That's why I have told you that you did not know the strength of your thought. Today I tell you that thought is voice and hearing. It is a weapon and a shield. It creates and destroys. Wow, I mean, look at the power of your mind, right? And people think the stuff on the movies with the telekinesis and the telepathy is all fake. Let's continue. Thought cuts the distance to those who are absent and finds those who have been lost. Know your weapons before the battle commences. He who knows how to prepare himself will be strong and invincible. It will not be necessary to wield mortal weapons. Your sword will be thought pure and clean. Your shield, faith and charity. Even in silence, your voice will resound a message of peace. Alright. Verse 14. Keep vigil, being careful not to stain your mind with impure thoughts. The mind is creative, and when you give space to an evil idea, it will lead you to the lower planes, and your spirit will be surrounded with darkness. And see, this is why you need to learn how to guard your portals, which are your five senses. Right? If you can guard those, then you straight. If you be careful with what you looking at, with what you listening to, right? You gonna have a lot of control. All right. Let's go to verse 16. Today, I can assure you that in the future, communication through thought will reach great development. And through it, many barriers that today separate peoples and world will disappear. If you learn to communicate in thought with your Father, if you achieve spirit-to-spirit communication, what difficulty could there then be in communicating with your brothers? Be they visible or invisible, present or absent, and nearby or far away. So there's gonna be a time where we gonna be able to communicate via thoughts, telepathy, telethought communication, and that is what the Adam Kadmon had when they came down to this earth. They had the ability of telethought communication, and so we are getting back to that point of telepathy, telethought communication, right? You see the movies like Marvel, right? You see X-Men. You see my boy Professor X, right? With his mind, right? Who else got? I think Storm has it too, right? Storm, Jean, I think Jean has it too, right? Like these Marvel movies is basically telling you, they giving you some visuals here. Let's go into the Dhammapada. We're about to go to the first chapter in the first verse. Okay, off rip, like off top. All right. Mind is the forerunner of all actions. All deeds are led by mind, created by mind. If one speaks or acts with a corrupt mind, suffering follows, as the wheel follows the hoof of an ox pulling a cart. Verse 2. Mind is the forerunner of all actions. All deeds are led by mind, created by mind. If one speaks or acts with a serene mind, happiness follows, as surely as one shadow. So we talking about minds, your thoughts, your words, right? You see how when the Elohim, the creator gods, right, where it says, come, let's make man in our image, right? We were created via thoughts, right? Because the thoughts come first, then the words, and the words are the vibrations. You know what? Let's get into the vibrations. Let's go to the book of Melchizedek. It's actually, the book of Remembrance of Melchizedek. This is going to be chapter 4, verse 20. And the sounds of death, for 𝐭𝐴. 𝐭𝐴 is another name for God or the Most High, right? So it's another name for the Most High. And the sounds of death, for 𝐭𝐴, are loud arguing and prayers of vengeance. Now, that's not to say you can't pray for the downfall of your enemies, right? That's different, all right? And raucous music and shouting and deceptive words and crying in distress and feet running in fear and the commands of armies mounting attacks and the noise of weapons and the cracklings of the strange fires of destruction and hard words of accusation and words of lying and expressions of fear and sighs of dismay and the harsh disciplining of children and the silence of ignoring pleas and statements of submission to dominance and death cries and bragging and words of impatience and too many more to cite. I was just on the plantation this morning, and this lady was like, she was yelling. She was impatient. She was like, where my order at? Where my order? I'm sitting here like, relax. It's just, man, it be crazy nowadays, man. It be crazy. All right, let's jump to verse 22. And bad is actually, they call Lucifer bad in this book, okay? In the book of Remembrance. Lucifer or Satan, God, 𝐁𝐴, another name for him is bad, all right? And also 𝐭𝐴, all right? And bad delighted in those sounds, and he never before had heard sounds that he felt so attracted to. All right, so let's get some positive vibrations in the house here, shall we? Let's get some positive vibrations. Let's go to the keys. Let us go to the keys, man. We about to go to key 305 and verse 26. And the 𝐭𝐡𝐢𝐬 Adonai Sabaoth is the central vibration coordinating all other vibrations within the spiritual vehicle of man. However, for thousands of years, man has been saying this sacred mantra with no recognizable augmentation of wisdom, save the few that were divinely selected to show how the greater creative gifts of the host of light could be directly projected through the body. Right? So this is a mantra here. At this time, the great dispensation that God has promised at the end of this time period, the 𝐭𝐻𝐸 Adonai Sabaoth will become the key, the transformation of man. For through God's dispensation, the Christ or self body will be quickened into direct work with the physical body. Let's go to verse 37. Thus, the 𝐭𝐻𝐸 Adonai Sabaoth creates the mental, spiritual time warps within your body, which allows you to grow from a small microcosm into the next level of Godhead. The thought forms coming through this time warp remake your genetic inputs in order to manifest life continuum and transform your Adamic form into the next form of godliness of the Adam Cadman. Here, the thought forms allow the seed crystal, which is your third eye, of cell division to remake life into the next level of godhood. And the crystals of the heavens vibrate, and all manner of creation vibrates with the holy mantra, with this holy mantra. Therefore, let the planetary gardens rejoice and all that is therein. Let the elements sing to Yehovah, because he has given each joyous cosmology its shemot. Oh, give thanks unto the Lord, for he is good, for his mercy endureth forever. Let's hit verse 42. Metatron. For those that don't know who Metatron is, he's one of the angels in the spiritual realm, right? He's the creator of the outer light. He is a Lord of Light. Metatron also explained to me that the salutation 𝐭𝐻𝐸 Adonai Sabaoth should be used to discern the spiritual form, the negative heavenly forces. The salutation sets in motion a resonance pattern, which the throne of the Father, which the negative forces cannot use when greeted with the salutation. In fact, this salutation is so strong that the negative forces cannot remain for any length of time in the presence of its vibration. Hence, the negative forces are exposed and can be destroyed by the higher heavenly brotherhoods if they do not respect this code of the heavenly illuminaries. 𝐭𝐻𝐸 Adonai Sabaoth. 𝐭𝐻𝐸 Adonai Sabaoth. Let's go to Key 3:16, verse 69. 𝐯𝐢 is light polarization composed of thought particles of light that can transform the body while maintaining the sensitive faculties of the mind, so that it can function on a multitude of levels. And when you receive a whole light being, we talked about the whole light beings in a previous video, definitely go check that out. You also receive the light polarization of 𝐯𝐢, which enables you to see other dimensional realities and to make contact with the Lords of Light, who acknowledge that polarization of light so you can participate with them. Just as 𝐯𝐢 comes from the Brotherhood Light to man, there are also 𝐯𝐢 thought particles, which are created by the spiritual and physical energies which are aligned with your own system and operate within you as a unit for higher consciousness awareness. Metatron revealed that these thought particles of light known as 𝐯𝐢 are necessary for transformation into the light, because they work as an additional charge in the length-defining operations of the human electrochemical processes, so that the electrochemical processes have access to a higher field of energy. By the use of 𝐯𝐢, the body is subordinated to your thoughts. thoughts are important. 𝐯𝐤 is the adaptable unit of thought particles needed to expand, go within, and do omnidirectional work with the higher evolution, which are the entities on the other side, right? The interaction between the many thought particles with the 𝐭𝐴 bodies, which is one of your overself bodies, within you is a fundamental generating dynamic for experience with the higher evolution. Generally, man is oblivious to these length-defining operations created by these 𝐯𝐤 thought particles of light, which are interacting with all perceptual masses in our universe. Moreover, thought particles, which control traditional systems, precondition those systems to remain with a limited range of mental activity. The preconditioning process is changed to the programming activities of 𝐯𝐤 particles. Let's go to Key 207, verse 6. The teachings of light are sent down from the higher world to the lower planetary creations in the higher language of light, which communicates through pulsating geometries of light or ideographic cybernetics. These teachings of wisdom are given to allow man to have communion with other planets of intelligence. Let's get the definition for ideographic cybernetics. The definition of ideographic cybernetics: language of light symbols working with more than two-dimensional forms of graphic language. They are geometric pictures and signs which work on many levels of consciousness through a control system connecting the brain and electrical networks. The higher evolution, which is the higher intelligences, right? The angelic hierarchies in the celestial realm make use of picture codes, which they can imprint into the feedback systems of the brain to advance sensory input and output, so that it is no longer committed to the time patterns of consciousness in the physical universe. The process allows higher intelligence to communicate regardless of verbal language, giving mental direction that will alter the memory substrate of language, affecting the psychological, neurological, biochemical, and cosmological levels of thought attunement. Okay. Now let's go to verse 7. The essence of these teachings was given in the past, before the corruption of man. However, with the corruption of man by the fallen brotherhoods, man was taught through false teachings how to use this language of light for space and planetary warfare. Through the use of these fallen teachings, a new species was created to do the work and chores of the planet. This species was part human and part animal. The fallen Adamic humanity desired to give this subspecies creation a form of godliness, and to give them access to higher evolutionary teachings. This was beyond their spiritual and genetic capacity to understand, and therefore would have resulted in the complete destruction of the planet. Thus, the councils of the Lords of Light had to intervene to prevent the corrupted species from endangering and interbreeding with the intelligence on this planet or other planetary environments through space migration, right? So when the Adamic race came down here, the children of light came down here, right? This is when stuff hit the fan here, and everything went crazy. All right. Verse 11. To prevent this from occurring, the Council of Lords of Light deliberately confused the languages of the Earth's races, so that man would no longer have access to the higher records, nor the ability to build a space needle to communicate with the gods. Only when man is able to be the Christ light once again, to get that light body back, right? To get that Adam Kadmon body that Yahushua showed you how to get, will he be able to use the language of light and be a co-participant in the higher worlds of light. He will then acquire the language the sons of light use, and which the first members of the Adamic race had when they originally came to the planet. And this is the reason why Enoch is speaking to the human community at this time. For the human mind is to be prepared to enjoy the dimensions of communication that were originally present for the prophets and pre-scientists who walked upon the earth. Let's go to key 214, verse 10. Therefore, I was told that those anointed through divine pictographs would receive their knowledge through pictographs of light, so that their mind-body unity could be coded simultaneously on all levels of biochemical language at speeds faster than the biological relay mechanisms of the hypothalamus. Let's go down to verse 12. The light pictographs are thought forms from the higher intelligence, projected through the radiations of color to corresponding mental dimensions which perceive knowledge through the vibrations of a coordinated mind-body. The pictographs harmonize color tones into mantra patterns that can be retained by the spiritual mind. Let's go down to verse 15. Thus, the pictographs are energized image shapes symbolizing the meaning of ideas, which produce pictures and sounds in mental language, and activate the receptor cone of the eye to see objects on the many levels of space in which man coexists. So let's take a look at these pictograms, color screen, and sound tones here on this page here. And as you can see, we got some Egyptian hieroglyphics here. Okay, so it's like, you know, it's a pictographs, right? If you look at the pictographic Hebrew, right, they essentially pictures, right? And that's why a lot of people they don't like reading, bro. They don't like reading, right? They like looking at pictures and imagery, right? Let's go to verse 17. I was told by Enoch that pictographs of light are essential for communication exchange between the human body and its overself body. Only when you know your true identity with respect to your overself can there be a true understanding of the pictographs of light, which give knowledge not only of the immediate reality, but all adjacent realities used in the instruction of I am identity from one world to the next. Thus, pictographs not only communicate higher spiritual wisdom to the brain, but provide us with a new circulatory system for linkage with other higher selves. Verse 33. I was told by Enoch that the light pictographs will seal the bodies that will be resurrected. These seals will maintain the awareness of the mind to fight off the temptations of death, as the soul is removed to other worlds, having first been glorified by the letters that seal the soul in the Father's book of life. The man who sees and understands, this is he who enjoys union with the Father's language of light. He enjoys unlimited freedom to move into other realms of consciousness, for he is above any spatial limitation of language. The Father's language respatializes the mind for work with the geometries of the life continuum. Earthbound language has been shaped by the variegated patterns of human thoughts, resulting in morphemes and phonemes, or organized into linear sentence structure separated by periods. The periods syntactically produce a consciousness breakage and an inactivation of higher free-floating thought forms that were not meant for the limitations of static syntax. Rather, the higher thought forms were meant for the mind's spatialization into the open geometries of the life continuum. Go down to verse 37. Thus, the Lords of Light came down from the higher loka, which is the realms, to take on human form and to teach the language of light, so that the mind of man can expand to see the dawning of other worlds and other realms of creation, generating the very thought symbols connecting our plane of consciousness to the universal totality of the mind-body. In previous cycles, man, under the guidance of the Lords of Light, interpreted the light pictographs into an alphabet of fire letters and mathematical geometries known as ideographs, which were also capable of respatializing any consciousness form that shared this original projection of light. The Lords of Light warned man not to misuse the language of light by using the wrong ebb and flow of the language patterns, or by using the knowledge of the language against the will of the Father. Okay? Verse 40. But man did not hearken to the word of the Lord, and accepted instructions from the fallen Ophanim under the command of 𝐁𝐨𝐤𝐬, who shared many of the eternal secrets of the Father's kingdom which man were striving to learn. However, these secrets were shared through the art of warfare, the art of spoken and written language, which was corrupted and segmented, resulting in imperfect scriptures and other arts enchanting man and leading him astray. The fallen instructors also taught the arts of temple building and architecture, and instructed man to build great cities with towers for communication that would unify man with the hierarchy of the fallen angels. Michael, Uriel, Raphael, and Gabriel looked down from heaven and saw how the lawlessness on the planet was being used by the fallen angels to extend their knowledge to other planetary kingdoms. They appealed to the throne of Yahweh to put an end to the Tower of Babel and to blind the eyes of fallen humanity from the language of light. Thus, no longer can the conceptual template of man directly assimilate the teachings of the Lords of Light until his body and his mind are recharged by the light. I'm gonna read it again. Thus, no longer can the conceptual template of man directly assimilate the teachings of the Lords of Light until his body and minds are recharged by the light. Okay? By the light emanations of the angelic hierarchies and the brotherhoods of light. So we gotta purify ourselves. And then when we get that light body, we're gonna be able to get that language of light. Alright? It's that simple. That's simple. That's straightforward. That's plain. That's plain. At this time, changes in the new heavens have caused great changes to occur upon the earth, loosening the chambers of the deep where the great scientific scriptures of the ages are hidden. They are being restored to us in an inner tongue, so that we will recognize the sacred letters from the brotherhood working with the atom Cadman. Thus, we will be able to once again speak with tongues of fire. Know this, change, O watchmen of Zion, and know the language of light behind these words. This is what the Lord, Yahweh, has said. Here I am, creating new heavens and a new earth, and the former things will not be called to mind, neither will they come up into the heart. At this time, you will use and communicate through your mind's eye, your crystal eye, your third eye, right? At this time, you will use and communicate through your mind's eye in the flaming pictographs of light. So you're going to be communicating via thought communication. Okay? No longer will the former things of human speech or the resonance of the fallen over them be called to mind in separating your vibration of light from Joshua, who comes in the name of Yahweh, or it says here, Jehovah. All right? So we're going to be going back to that telepathy. All right? Just like how it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. All right? So I'm actually gonna leave a Third Testament PDF for y'all. You can also buy it on Amazon as well. The one that I got, I did get the one on Amazon, which is the soft cover, but I also got the hardcover. That one's actually more expensive. But I'm gonna leave a Third Testament PDF in the description. And also as well, I do have a Instagram account, and when I don't be uploading, I do be posting some stuff there. All right, so definitely go ahead and check that out as well. But that's gonna be it for this lesson. It's gonna be it for this video. Hopefully you munched on something. All right, you learned something new. 𝐭𝐡𝐢𝐬 𝐭𝐡𝐢𝐬 Adonai Sabaoth. I say shalom and stay strong.